a place to be, where music meets therapy.
I don't think we could have ever guessed how successful a place to be would have been. Those first few clients that came to us helped us design what a place to be is today. 2, 3, say something.
Something.
We're performing tonight!
Performing, yeah.
Everybody's
awkward here.
Ready? Go.
This is my song, Social Anxiety. I hope you like it.
So I can remember my first interactions and working with Blake.
Social anxiety makes you wanna frown.
Blake has an enormous creative mind, but to get him to focus on anything for longer than a few seconds was very difficult for Blake. Also socialization and also self-expression, because Blake had so much to express. How were we to do that with music? So they got in their car and drove away. Well, as they drove, the car started making weird noises. Blake would be one of the first clients I worked with who really was this amazing experiment for how music theater and music therapy could mold together into this sort of method.
What kind of lightning bug can't light up the night?
How did I get stuck with this little lightless body? It's not fair! It's not fair! I don't shine at night.
And so Blake would create characters, he would create songs, he would create stories. And to now see who Blake is, the actor he is, the performer he is, and the person he is, and how he has dealt with many different setbacks and challenges, that he has used his creativity and what some might have said is his hyperactivity to use that as a force in this world to do good and to be imaginative.
You gotta have fun, you gotta rock this night, you gotta have some fun, 'cause it's Christmas Day, yeah.
So Veronica, now in college, she shows all of us, she proves to all of us that you can have Down syndrome and you can be pigeonholed into this category of an individual with Down syndrome. But Veronica was not going to be pigeonholed.
How has a place to be helped you at college? What do you think?
It helped me gain my music pack by taking a percussion class for drums, and that helped me a lot with my stress, and it helped a lot with everything that music helped me a lot over the years, and I think music is the key that helps a lot of people.
Veronica's starring as Ariel in The Little Mermaid is a great memory for me. I think that was one of the first times I saw how Veronica herself could transform the expectations of other people about what somebody with Down syndrome can do.
I've just had so much fun. I mean, when the curtain went up on Little Mermaid and there she was with this long red hair and this green shimmering up, it was great. And the potential it came out all of a sudden. You was like, oh my gosh, she can memorize lines. She can hold herself on stage. You had a good time doing it too.
I do, yes. It was my first time acting. I was 17 years old in high school, and I felt more happy and more alive to engage with other cast members, to make new friends, being social, and just being heard.
Start again. Go.
I appreciate your concern, Sergeant Lowry, for our safety. But what we have here is a kind and gentle velveteen rabbit, new and still shiny. Welcome to the nursery, friend.
Okay, now watch.
What? Don't I hear myself?
No, you're good at it. James Small. James has to be one of the wittiest and smartest young men I have had the pleasure of working with. James came to me with this amazing mind, but really didn't know how to use his skill and his talent to reach out to a broader world, to reach out socially, to reach out to have other people understand who he really was.
For me, it gave me confidence. It allowed me to sort of go outside of my comfort zone and learn about new things that I had never learned before. I had said to myself I was never going to learn that. I'm not interested in that. But now I'm much smarter in that aspect.
Where is home? Is it someplace with walls and windows and a roof above your head? Home.
James is one of our ambassadors at A Place to Be. James is an empathetic, caring individual. James knows how it feels to not fit in. I'll go back to our production of Aladdin, where James starred as the genie. And I think this was one of the roles where we could see how much potential James Small had.
Well, for me, one of James's defining moments at A Place to Be, besides the maturity and not being the same kid who walked through the door 10 years ago, is his role as the genie in Aladdin. When he led that parade in, his father and I were almost hysterical crying. He was in his element, and I don't think I've ever seen him up to that point as happy on a stage. And what he took away from that experience, he has applied that to every aspect of his life. But that was, I'd have to say, if I could look back, that was like one of the best parental moments for us, watching him as the genie in Aladdin.
Yes.
Yeah.
I am proudest, I'm going to break up, I am proudest of the fact that you're able to stand on your own 2 feet, you're able to speak for yourself, you're courageous in what you believe and what you know to be right, and you're unafraid to go ahead and you live your life according to those principles and to say that. By the same token, you are an extraordinarily kind person, and you have learned, not that you weren't this way to begin, but you've learned even better to embrace others and to support other people, be they rich or poor, smart or not so smart, and so on and so forth. And I am just super proud of that, because that is the man that I would want you to be.
Thanks, Dad.
You're welcome.
That's nice.
My name is Scott Meeker, and I'm 10 years old. And my town is Aldi. And I'm gonna sing "Moving Right Along." Moving right along in search of good times and good news.
Scott came to me, and the very first interactions I had with Scott was I wanted to see, since Scott was autistic, could we help him at least begin to have better eye contact? And eyes are the windows of the soul. So I thought musically, if we could work on some sort of activity that each week we would gain seconds of eye contact, would be a great beginning point for Scott and I. So we started the It's So Nice to See You song.
It's so nice to see you, it's so nice to see you, it's so nice to see you, Mr. Tom.
Yep, that's it.
Like that.
And what was the point of that?
And the point of that was like, if I looked away, he would stop. But if I kept looking at him, he would just still be playing.
So what were you working on? What do we call it?
Eye contact.
Right.
Eye contact.
How many times can you sing the hello song to Mr. Tom looking in his eyes? And when you look away, what's going to happen to the music?
You stop it.
Ready?
It's so nice to see you.
It's so nice to see you. It's so nice to see you. Oh, you looked away.
I did not.
You did look away.
Why?
Why? I don't know why.
Maybe I was turning around.
Maybe you were turning around, but where should your eyes be when you're singing this song?
At Mr. Tom's eyes.
And what do we call that? Good eye
To see you. Good eyes.
contact. You ready?
Go. It's so nice to see you. It's so nice to see you. It's so nice to see you, Mr. Tom.
Oh, that was better. Months went by, and what was 2 seconds went to 5 seconds, went to 10 seconds, to now Scott and I can sing across from each other. If you asked us to sing for 5 minutes and sing and look at each other, we would do that.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Oh, buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I never get
Scott
some.
is a courageous young man. Not only did music and all the performances here at A Place to Be help Scott socially and also personally, but when Scott went through having a cancerous brain tumor a couple years ago, music was there. And music was also there to express his feeling about the cancer and how he was not going to allow cancer to take over his life.
I've been labeled with autism since I was little, but last summer I was also labeled I was also diagnosed with cancer because I had some big tumors on my brain.
And 2 years ago, Scott was also diagnosed with cancer.
I'm cancer-free and doing so much.
What was cool about Same Sky was just performing with some friends and being so popular and trying to, we can help the kids. It helps the kids know what happened to us, and it shows we have a story all together, like how we had those disabilities.
Well, this is going to be an easy one, buddy. Okay. What's our motto?
Never give up.
Okay, and that's been the case with everything that we've done at A Place to Be, right?
Right.
You're so fine, and I'm loving.
I don't want to sing.
We better finish the song.
I can't finish the song.
I bet you can finish the song.
Perfect lucky, you're the one. You make bad time, awesome fun. Perfect lucky, I'm probably fond of you. Woo-woo to you.
So Ryan Lowry, Ryan was one of my very first music therapy clients. And the moment he ran in, I was going to say walk in, but Ryan didn't walk. He ran more than he walked back then.
Okay, you and I. Can you sit over there, please? Thanks. Maybe I'll teach you a little new ditty on the piano.
Mostly nonverbal, had some words, mostly sounds. This boy is genius. One of the things that I remember, maybe in our, after we've known each other for a couple months, I was talking to him, and in his notebook he kept writing, a number, and then BPM. And I was like, what is that? He was actually taking the beats per minute of the speed of my speech.
Music with feelings, piano feelings.
Music with feelings, piano feelings. Ryan, do you remember A Place to Be a long time ago?
Yes.
What was your favorite part?
My favorite part is that you helped me get you helped me get my voice and
Yes.
sing all my songs and sing wonderful and try my best.
So I think we kind of all intuitively know that there's something different about music that can lead you in places or can help you in places, but it helps with articulation. It helps, in your ability to communicate, which of course is very important as we think about, the next step in achieving independence and being able to hold down a real job. You need to be able to communicate, so it helps there, but it also helps in socialization and, to Ryan's point, making friends.
When he was young, it was the only way we got his attention was to sing. And we must have sang "Should Be Coming Around the Mountain"
That was the only way you could get
1,000
him.
times, because it's the only way that he would look at us.
To look at it, to get him in a family photo, to look at the camera, we would have to sing that song. So I sang
1,000
a lot.
times. So that's how we got into Ryan. Honestly, that was
Yeah,
how we entered his world, and he entered our world, was through music at the beginning.
I'm so proud of Ryan on so many levels. And something that I think that Ryan taught all of us is, you can have something like autism and you can have sensory integration issues. But at the core of somebody like a Ryan Lowry is this heart, this sincere, authentic heart that really just wants to show you love and wants to do the right thing. I know that Ryan Lowry has helped form who I am as a music therapist, and I know that he helped create what A Place to Be is for all of us. It's people like Ryan that made A Place to Be what it is today.
I would say, I'm not even right. I don't know if I can talk. Just him having a voice and getting up on stage and being able to sing in front of people, and then embracing them afterwards and knowing that he has a sense of being here. He always wants to come. He never says he doesn't want to come. And that warms my heart because I want him to be accepted. And I think he's learned that, and he's learned empathy for other kids too, because he is a very kind. And you're giving, and you listen, and you take care of your little brother, and I think a lot of that came from here, and being around kids. And what you did on Sunday was amazing. And I love you.
What do you say to your mom, Ryan? She just complimented you.
too.
The song I'm going to sing is about autism. It's a disorder. Here we go. How did it happen, this autism thing? It makes my life quite confusing. I don't know why I was born this way, but I need to stay strong every
Jack
day.
Price. Jack is one of my first clients ever. Jack has dealt with autism and also obsessive compulsive disorder. His honesty and vulnerability to create music through his pain, using music as a sort of avenue for him to deal with these issues.
It's hard being yourself sometimes, but you just gotta keep moving forward. And it's a hard day's night, like when I'm in school. Here it goes. 1, 2, 3. It's been a hard day's night, and I've been working like a dog. It's been a hard.
Doing it with music, I think, was more like my language, because I've always been fond of music, and combining therapy and psychological stuff with music it was just a really good combination. Yeah, and it's just something that I've been so connected with, and I'm just so glad I discovered it.
I didn't understand how these kids could get up there and do that. I just was amazed I couldn't do it. And it just the honesty and leaving themselves so vulnerable, and then watching, I know Doug also likes to watch the audience, and it's just amazing how they connect, and it's very, very touching.
It was my honor to sit with Jack and work through songs where we would create a way into how to deal with an obsessive compulsive moment. And often that had to do with the Beatles or, changing the words of a song. So Jack could have that song personally that he could use anytime he felt his OCD taking him over.
When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Lori comes to me.
Writing these songs about my OCD and explaining them, analyzing them, and discussing how I could, how we could cope with it and try to, I could try to learn to overcome it.
I didn't have any support in the beginning at all. Jack was expelled from preschool for no reason, just because they didn't want to deal with it. And I had nowhere, nothing. I often think, I don't know where we would be. I really don't, because there was no support, nothing. And so that's a really big part of it to me, is just getting to know the other parents and hanging out with them. We've become friends, and the kids have become friends, so that's a really big thing.
What's out there, I'll be here. I believe that you are able to go far. You'll be a star.
Jack found a way to express himself. Jack found a way to conquer a lot of his challenges through music. He is an amazing example of resilience, and also an amazing example of somebody being a performer inside and not being afraid to let the audiences see who he really was.
Wise Mountain, maybe you can help me. My parents don't want me to leave the castle walls, but I'm confused because if I'm not permitted to leave the castle walls, how in the world am I supposed to find my purpose?
Well, there would be no place to be without Amy Stone. So Amy Stone saw a place to be before we saw it. We all know that she is an amazing human being who, yes, does have cerebral palsy. But we know that she was put here on this earth to be not only an advocate, but an inspiration to so many.
So for me, music therapy gave Amy her voice. Because Amy, with cerebral palsy, she'd been through a lot of different therapies, including speech therapy. And when you approached about how you would like to work with her, and we got to see you at VSA, and you were working with her, and over the years, just with her breath control, I mean, you literally gave her voice, like through learning with
Physically.
Yeah, physically.
It's a lot of it's physical. Music therapy is a clinically based use of music. So there's a lot of things that we say and do. Rhyme with the conversation song, and it's really kind of fun because we get to see the clinical base side of music therapy be used on the stage side, so it's really kind of fun to have a different kind of model.
And I have another thing to say about your voice. You got it physically, but also, you become strong and you use your voice. Like through opportunities that you've given Amy, A Place to Be has given Amy to advocate and to put your voice out there. So it's pretty incredible.
Amy is one of the clients that I have worked with that I think that we almost used every method there ever was out there in music therapy, from guided imagery to Nordhoff Robbins to dance to even working physically with her fingers so she could play Happy Birthday at her birthday party.
proud of you for just how you persevere and you just go forward and you use your voice and you advocate for yourself and others, and with your challenges, and you go out there and just your dreams. You're always dreaming about, how to make it a better place and how to spread the word of empathy and compassion, and just so proud of you.
She took control of her cerebral palsy, and music was one way she could do that. Amy has starred in show after show at A Place to Be, showing that something like cerebral palsy will not hold her back from living life to its fullest. She is a powerful woman who knows that the arts and music is one way that you can live a larger and more grander life.
When the stress